All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another video, another podcast with the Compas. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for all the love on the last one. If you haven't seen any of our last videos, go check them out. Hopefully they're good. You like them. Let us know how you guys like them. But today, once again, we're going to switch it up. I know this last weekend we had the trilogy between Canelo, Saul Alvarez,
What a
and
trilogy.
Gennady Golovkin, Triple G. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Let's see what Mr. Doug over here has to say about it. I have my thoughts. He has his, and a couple questions to go along with that. So hopefully you guys like it, and let's get into it.
Hey, I was doing it.
What's going on?
Yo,
Hey,
we're ready. See?
we're ready.
Start a like. Let's see if we think alike on the questions, the topics.
I don't know,
So,
maybe not, but I think we have some separate perspectives, which I think will be nice for the video. A little bit of a debate, but if you go, you don't. There's no wrong opinion, but at least your opinion we know is wrong. So anyway, we're gonna get right into it.
yeah. Ooh. So,
Let's start off real quick, real simple. Give me your thoughts on the fight. That's it. Real simple. What you think? What did you expect? What was
you
the
want like
outcome?
my simple thoughts, like logically, or you want like simple thoughts, like emotionally, like
You know what?
emotional, like
Just give me what you think from a boxing perspective. Simply performance. If you didn't know both guys, how did they do?
I think that Triple G did not do enough at all. I think it was just kind of like going for his paycheck. I did like the way he finished the fight. I think strategically, I think he probably wanted the fight to go all 12 rounds. He wanted to tire out Canelo because Canelo not known for his stamina and his endurance. So I think that was part of the game plan. The corners telling him, like, "I know what you're doing, but we need to start punching some, we need to start throwing some more." So I think that was the game plan. Didn't work out, and I think Canelo just being the better boxer just did what he was supposed to do. Would have
Mm-hmm.
liked to see more, however, from Canelo as well. But I think at the end of the day, nothing was surprising or shocking.
Okay. I'll agree with that. I don't think Canelo went in there to really destroy or you know, outbox or do anything amazing with Triple G. I think mainly he was there to get a little bit of a tune up from his loss with Bivol. I think it was just a bit of a bounce back because I know he'd been on a winning streak for a while, so maybe jumping up that big weight and facing a bigger guy, it knocked him back down a little bit, and he just needed something to tune up a little bit in, and he did what he had to do, like you said. He boxed well. He did it more as a boxer, not a fighter. I think he went in with points in his mind and just making sure he did just enough and fought well enough to get the points to his decision. And I think he just did, like you said, he did just enough to win that fight. And it was exciting in some moments. I think, like you said, there could have been more though. So like just from the other two fights that we've seen already in the battles that they had between each other, there was a lot more expectation, I think.
Yeah, I kind of almost think that Canelo felt bad for Triple G in a way
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like maybe at the beginning, Canelo, that's what he was looking for, like a fight just like the previous ones, competitive, back and forth. But I think it got easier and easier, even if Canelo was struggling with his stamina.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there was so much respect that Canelo showed towards Triple G
Mm-hmm.
that even I said before the fight, like I wish it could be a good fight. I'm not expecting Triple G to win at all, but I also don't want to see him getting knocked out because
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like just getting knocked out, I don't know, it would have hurt his legacy. And even this performance, like in a way, it's not nowhere near one of his best performances, and
Yeah.
a lot of it has to do with age, though.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know if maybe it was just like we kept joking around about, how, oh, it was just the money grab. It was something to finish off the trilogy, something that'll give the fans just the last fight before Triple G's kind of like on his way, I guess you can say,
Yeah,
on his way out. So maybe it was something just to finish up what they kind of started. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like
I thought he was gonna retire after this.
yes, I felt like he could have. It was a good, like, at the end of the fight, even though it wasn't the most amazing or spectacular fight, it was still decent enough or a good enough fight. And at the end, they kind of show respect towards each other, like they went full circle and they closed off the trilogy like in a nice way, I guess you can say. They kind of showed respect to each other and know that they brought a good trilogy to everybody. But
You know
kind
what?
of
Now that you say that quickly, though, like I think that's what it was about. I think it was more about closing that story, that gap as Triple
yeah,
G's getting older, Canelo's doing his prime, more than about showing entertainment and a great fight.
yeah, yeah. I think it was mainly the storyline, like you said. It was a good, I guess, a good ending for a great 36 rounds if you want to count each one. It was.
I wouldn't call it a great ending. I mean, I was happy
I
about.
I don't know about the boxing perspective, but as a story, it was cool to see that at the end of the three fights. But on to that trilogy, and speaking of all three of those fights, between those three fights, if you could go back to the first one, this was a very controversial draw. I don't know how much you remember from it. I know a lot of people said Canelo won fair and square and clear. I personally don't think so. But if you could choose a winner between, Canelo and Triple G in the first one, and then we go forward and go to the second fight, what do you think the first one had that Triple G maybe have won, or maybe you thought Canelo won clearly, if you can remember the first fight?
Canelo clearly did not win. There is no way, not even close. Like this first fight is the one. Like I agree, it was robbed. Like it was stolen from Triple G.
Mm,
Because Triple G's performance, I think no one was expecting that. I don't think even Canelo was expecting that. He didn't realize how good Triple G was at that moment.
yeah,
So Triple G was much faster, better endurance. His jab has always been good. But even in that fight, he was throwing with his right a lot more. I don't even think I saw him throw a right hook or anything in this last fight. But
yeah,
I think the biggest thing though, and usually what happens a lot in sports where like as fans and even as refs, you kind of lean more towards the aggressor. And in the first
mm,
fight, I felt Triple G was more of the aggressor. He was the one attacking. He was the one looking for the fight, looking for the contact. He was the one looking for that Mexican style fighting, right? And then Canelo is being criticized for not doing so much of that. So
yeah.
yeah, but in my mind, I think that first fight was really easy, Triple G's favor.
Yeah, I think I would agree on you that Triple G definitely won that fight, and I try to be as biased, I mean unbiased as possible with because I
For
love,
right
and
person.
Canelo's a great fighter. I know that already. He's already set his name and legacy and all that. But that first fight with Triple G, I really do think that Triple G could have took that win. I was surprised when they call it a draw because I feel like even though Canelo would have lost, I feel like they still would have done the rematch. Like that was something that I feel was already set up for them in order to get that second match and see Canelo come back and win it. Because, well, before we get into the second fight, but I think Triple G beat Canelo in that first one. Like you said, he was the aggressor. He landed more and he was throwing everything he had. And I think Canelo the whole fight was really waiting for a good counter. And you could see sometimes how he would land a good counter, and that's basically what he was waiting for because he knew Triple G was being so aggressive. So he was just waiting for a good counter to maybe rock him and then have some follow up shots. So I think that's how Canelo was fighting compared to what Triple G was doing, which is really aggressive. And that's like you said, we didn't see much of that in this third fight, and it could be due to age, stamina, all that stuff. But definitely first fight, I think Triple G won that too.
And I just searched out the scorecard for the fight again, and I just remember the part where like I was even more like frustrated, angry, annoyed.
Or
That like one was 118, 110.
to
Like,
Canelo,
yeah,
I
where
remember that.
did you get that number from? Like, if most people, even that time, like even like Canelo fans were agreeing that Triple G won that fight. How you get such a big number on the opposite side in Canelo's favor?
honestly. Yeah. And that was a big, I mean, we saw it probably anywhere, any sports debate channel that you could think of, really talking about that one score and being criticized how it's so far apart. Like if they were watching a completely different fight, because it was a really close fight and it was a very good fight. That was like probably the best fight in the trilogy, in my opinion, because they were both giving it what they had. And I don't know, it was such a big difference that it was kind of
Honestly,
shocking.
honestly, just say also when fights end in a draw. I think there should be a winner at all times. So
That's another debate maybe for another day. But
yeah.
I gotta move on to fight number two. I know fight number one we're both saying that Triple G probably took that one for sure. Fight number two, what'd you see in that one that maybe you didn't see in fight number one that changed the way Canelo won that one, or maybe didn't win?
It's the aggression aspect again. I think in the second one, Canelo was definitely more aggressive. I think he did hear the critics talking about that,
Hmm.
and he went in there looking for the fight. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't defensive. 'Cause, I mean, we criticize Mayweather for being defensive sometimes, the way with his
Hmm.
fighting style, and that's kind of the perspective that Canelo was giving after the first fight. But I think he heard all of that. He heard the fans, and he came into this second fight with a whole different mentality. And in my opinion, that second one was very, very close.
Mm.
I think at the time, I was still leaning a little bit more towards Triple G, but I feel like that one partially may have been like, hey, you know what? Y'all stole the first fight from him. Just give it
Hmm.
to him. But when people are saying Canelo won, I was not against it at all. I think
Yeah,
it was just like one of those coin toss. It could have gone to either one, in my opinion, with that.
yeah, it really was. And Triple G still came in with the same energy in the second fight, and I think Canelo matched that energy. So I think it was a really good fight. And between the first and the second, I don't know. I know I said the first one was probably the best one in the trilogy. This is a really close one. You could probably debate either one could be the best one in the trilogy. I mean, and I think that's why when the third fight came, I feel it was a little bit too late. I
Yeah,
think that
for sure.
trilogy should have happened a lot earlier. Triple G maybe still had stamina and he wasn't fighting, taxi drivers and dishwashers on the side. But he could have definitely fought him, right after the second one, and that would have made it like the best trilogy probably. So I wish they would have not waited as long, but definitely those two fights kind of were held at a good time, and then this one kind of pushed off a little
Because the second fight, I think, was 2018. So that was
bit.
4 years ago. So at that point, Canelo would have been what, 28, and Triple G would have been 36.
Hmm.
Considering that, like, prime range in boxing is about 28 to 35. We average both of them out about 31, 32, which is where Canelo's at now. I
Yeah,
think that would have been a really good fight. That's why it was a good fight in that time in 2018, because
yeah,
that's what the ages. But as time went on, and then we had the pandemic happen and everything,
yeah,
then that's part of the reason why I had to be delayed even more. That's what I'm assuming. Um, but once hitting 40s, it's just come on. Like, I don't. I see the third one being fair at all.
yeah. So I don't know. I still think probably one of the best trilogies of all time. I mean, two of the top fighters like that people have seen, and I think the way that both fighters fought, whether it's in the first, second, or third fight, still showed their class, still showed their skill set, even if it wasn't as aggressive or as entertaining in the third fight.
Yeah,
You can still see the levels like that there is in boxing. You can still see the skill set. So I
and I think
definitely
like
enjoyed it.
to kind of like think about each fight. Like the first one was just like great performance by Triple G that like show a world class type of boxing. And
Hmm.
then second was like very competitive, good fight, back and forth, aggressive. So it was a really great fight to see. And then the third one is just kind of displaying more of like the dominance Canelo has had over the last few years. And I think I showed you the post that I had made on Instagram that I put out there, and I was talking to one of my boys from the Bay after I posted
Yeah.
that, and like just clarifying stuff that like there's probably gonna be a lot of people out there that think that like I'm just hating on Canelo, and it's like
Yeah.
oh, like I know Canelo is the better boxer. I know he's the one to beat during these times, and even with the last fight that he lost, I mean that wasn't his best performance either. Like him, I think a lot of his again his endurance, his stamina, just being in better shape, he could be even better. But what I like criticize is more about like how the fans react to him, because it's like he
Mm,
did not do anything that was spectacular in this last fight. He didn't do any like type of world class boxing, something that we've never seen before. He didn't excel. He wasn't pushed to his limits. Like it was super easy. So when people start saying, "Oh my God, Canelo won like this and that, like he was amazing," he did. It's like no, that's he did what he was supposed to do. It's like
exactly.
when we talk about Jake Paul fighting a nobody, and he's been training for years and doing. He knows how to box, but when you
Yeah.
put him against somebody that hasn't been boxing at all, you're like, oh my god, like Jake Paul won. It's like, no, he should have won. And it's like we if we hold them to such a high standard and we like to praise boxers, soccer players, whatever athlete you are, you gotta do the same and measure against your competition.
Yep. Yeah. He definitely brought it. Just like you said, did what he's supposed to. And we already know Canelo is a great boxer. So coming into that fight, like you said, I knew he was gonna win it, and I did want to see something, exciting and spectacular, like you said, from Canelo. But I mean, he did what he did, and he won it like he's supposed to. I guess, like you said, he's supposed to do that, and that was the minimum expectation, if you want to say that. Like, get through the fight
Yeah.
and win, win just like that.
Although some people's expectations was that he needed to win in a dominant way, and not by the lack of Triple G, but by the just better world class performance from Canelo.
Mm,
Because again, the reason why this fight happened was because a lot of people felt that Triple G was robbed on the first one. So people were arguing technically it's 1-1. Let's see
yeah,
who
yeah.
really is better. And again, it came so late, lack of Triple G not even doing nowhere near his best. Canelo
Mhm,
was just so clear the favorite.
yeah. I mean, all in all, I think both are great boxers, and hopefully we get to see them, maybe even become coaches. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they coach some young boxers and become, world class coaches then. But we'll see what the future holds for both of them.
And we'll see. You could have been great as a boxer, but not be a great coach. So
Exactly. So I don't know. We'll see how they like the future of boxing for them. But for now, I think that's what we got for Canelo and Triple G. And I hope you guys liked it. Uh, Make sure you like the video, comment, share the video everywhere. Let us know what you guys think about the trilogy. Where do you guys rank other trilogies, maybe? Or let us know what you guys want to talk about next. And I don't
yeah,
know. We'll close it out like that.
sounds good. It was great talking about this. I know something we don't normally do, but we both enjoy watching boxing, even UFC. So if there's any other sport out there that you guys want us to talk about, just leave it in the
Definitely.
comment section, and we'll go ahead and take a look at it.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching again. And enjoy your day. See you next time.
So.